Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 28th of March, now it's almost 11 o'clock in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There's quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you, but before I start, let me once again emphasize how grateful I am for your time, attention and support. It truly does mean a lot to me, so thank you very much. That being said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with the Ukrainian special military operation. And first news that I like to share with you is about drone strike that Russian side conducted during the previous night. Many areas were targeted in Ukraine. I believe some logistical and military infrastructure was hit by Russian drones, and not just on the frontline cities, but also in capital of Ukraine. And we have statement from Vitaly Klitschko, who is mayor of Kiev, and according to him, some infrastructure was damaged in Abalonsky and Sviatoshinsky districts of Ukrainian capital. We don't really have confirmed information about exactly what infrastructure was targeted. Maybe it was a warehouse, maybe it was a fuel depot. I did not see any photo or video confirmation, but if we take in account the huge ball of fire and dark smoke that occur during these strikes, I guess some serious damage was done. Probably it was fuel depots and warehouses where military equipment is stored by Zelensky's regime. But yet again, during the day we will probably learn more about night strike, and I will of course share information on my Telegram channel, like I did share information about the strike nighttime. Basically, Telegram channel is addition to main channel on YouTube, because of course I cannot talk about all the news in a single video update, and that's why Telegram is quite helpful. Telegram channel, if you want to learn what is happening during the day, you always can check and see tens of news on daily basis on Telegram, and you may find it interesting. If you are not subscribed, then it's up to you. You will see link under this video in the description box. So let's continue. And by the way, Telegram channel can be some reserve way of communication, because who knows, maybe YouTube will block my channel, or maybe Russia will block YouTube, and we will have at least Telegram left to communicate. And also Rumble. This week I start uploading videos on Rumble, same videos on Rumble on daily basis, and who knows, maybe Rumble will also become one of the ways to communicate. Anyway, let's continue now, and this is TASS News Agency's report, and we have statements from Yan Gagin here. Yan Gagin is aide to head of DPR, Donetsk People's Republic, and according to Gagin, Ukrainian armed forces are not ready to conduct any large-scale counteroffensive operation. He's talking about Donbas direction, of course, because he represents Donbas region. And of course, for me and for you, this information is not going to be surprised, because I was from very beginning of this wave as you know, a few days ago, not few days, but it's almost a week now, even more, but many media outlets and many channels on Telegram or YouTube began to talk about some inevitable large-scale counteroffensive for Zelensky's regime to deblocate Bakhmut. And when I analyze situation, it's become clear that Zelensky's regime just don't have enough forces to do so. They just don't have enough forces to conduct any large-scale operation in Donbass direction. And I did share this information. I did share my opinion with you, and now, of course, for us, this is not surprise what Jan Gagin is saying, but for people that believe to those other channels, they may even now expecting some large-scale Ukrainian counteroffensive, which will never come. So, but still it's good that now officials from Donbass are saying that there will be no large-scale counteroffensive of Ukrainian forces in Donbass. Let's continue now, and this is TASS news agency also. And we have statement from Pushilin, head of DPR. According to him, Russian side almost fully established almost full control over the industrial area of Bakhmut. Let me show you on the map. What am I talking about? So this is Bakhmut here. And yet again, this information also not gonna be surprised for many of you, because I did report about this like 2 or 3 days ago, that Russian side did establish control over the Azom steel plant and the industrial zone of Bakhmut. But now, yet again, we have official confirmation of this information, which is always nice. One thing is to predict something and to share information based on some independent sources, but whenever you have official confirmation, it's just always better. And now we have official confirmation that entire this area, this northern part, this industrial zone, is under Russian control. According to Pushilin, some small groups still are hiding in this industrial zone. Probably they did not manage to escape. And now PMC Wagner units are trying to find them, and I guess they will give them a choice to surrender. And it will be a decision of those small groups of Bakhmut garrison what to do next, surrender or die. So when it comes to Bakhmut itself, let me share with you this information, for example, which is coming from Ukrainian side. According to one of the leaders of Aidar battalion, which is a neo-Nazi battalion, probably many of you are familiar with this name, Aidar. It's Azov and Aidar, most famous, these neo-Nazi battalions in Ukrainian armed forces. They are incorporated in Ukrainian armed forces. And according to one of the leaders of this neo-Nazi unit, Evgeny Diki, he did give interview to Strana UA, that's a Ukrainian media outlet. So according to him, Bakhmut is basically almost fully encircled, which is true. And he also talked about Avdiivka, and also said that situation in Avdiivka also difficult, and that town is almost encircled also. And when it comes to Bakhmut, of course, you all are informed that there's only country roads left that not under direct control of PMC Wagner units, but those country roads are broken. Whenever it's rain, those country roads become in a river of mud. It's impossible to move over those roads with for big units, because they are constantly under control of Russian side, Russian artillery. And whenever convoy tries to cross that roads from Bakhmut to Chisov Yar, or vice versa from Chisov Yar to Bakhmut, they are becoming under artillery fire. And of course you see so many videos of destroyed columns of Ukrainian armed forces on those roads, country roads. So yes, when it comes to situations inside the Bakhmut itself, yesterday I did share on my Telegram channel video and photo confirmation that street fights are now going on in like few hundred meters from city center, in this southeast part of Bakhmut and northeast part. of Bakhmut, and I believe during the day today or in next 2 days, forward units of PMC Wagner will probably establish some forward positions in city center itself. Even though Wagnerites are probably best fighters when it comes to urban combat because of high concentration of Ukrainian armed forces in central parts of this city. Of course, it will take some time for Wagner units to neutralize such a concentration of forces of opposite side. So that's why I think it's this this fight will probably continue for maybe end of next week. But at some point, this garrison of Bakhmut will start to surrender. Probably they may try to flee. Some of them are trying to flee in disorganized manner, but still majority of forces are trapped in Bakhmut and in central parts of Bakhmut, and probably best they can do is to surrender before it's not too late, because it's only a matter of days and PMC Wagner units will take care of them. So that's the situation in Bakhmut. My expectation is that in maybe even today we will see that PMC Wagner forward units will establish some positions in central parts of the city. Next hot point, of course, Avdiivka. We had information that Russian side has some success in this direction also, and town is still not fully encircled. Town is in operational encirclement, and as I understand, Russian side will now try to use Avdiivka as a trap again, like they did in Bakhmut, and that's why probably these rumors are circulating that PMC Wagner may send some its units in the direction of Avdiivka to repeat success story that they have in Bakhmut. Even if this will happen, I think these units will not be transferred from Bakhmut, because Wagner PMC is probably one of the biggest private military companies in the world, and they probably have some reserves, and those reserves will be sent to Avdiivka. If Zelensky's regime, if anyone in Kiev, in Ukrainian government, has any ability to think properly, they will probably withdraw forces from Avdiivka. Otherwise, this town will become a magnet for Ukrainian forces that are around this area here, around Avdiivka, and they will be destroyed one by one, like it happened in Bakhmut. So let's see how will situation develop. Of course, next hot point is Seversk. It's much less fighting going on in direction of Seversk than in comparison to Bakhmut and Avdiivka, of course. But still, Seversk is a hot point, and once situation with Bakhmut will end, and eventually it will end, maybe before end of the next week. I don't know how long it will just technically take for PMC Wagner units to neutralize this huge concentration of Ukrainian forces in central part of Bakhmut. And as you know, according to some reports, it's up to from 5 to 10,000 Ukrainian soldiers can be trapped in central parts of Bakhmut. And we did had reports that casualties are just horrifying levels when it comes to Bakhmut garrison. They are losing hundreds and hundreds of soldiers on daily basis. So yes, next hot point, of course, Marinka. We did have information that Russian side did manage to achieve some more success in the direction of Marinka, and it seems like these Ukrainian forces that were holding for this little part of Marinka that left under their control, probably they are now, losing the strength, the maybe spirit to continue this fight, and probably it's a matter of days, and the Russian side will establish full control over the Marinka also. And of course, southern part, this land bridge between Crimea and mainland Russia. By the way, we had information that yesterday's strike on Melitopol's university was conducted by HIMARS multi-launch rocket systems. And of course, we know that whenever HIMARS is used, it's always under strict control of US specialists. We know about it for quite a long time now, and even Western media did report about this. And if that's the case, then we can say that it's Washington that ordered to strike on State University of Melitopol, and it's Washington, Biden administration, that wanted to kill Russian students in that university. So that shows you once again what kind of terrorist regime has been established in Washington under Biden administration. Of course, we can say that previous presidents of US were also not angels, and that's true, definitely. But current administration of US definitely acting like they are openly acting like terrorists and mass murderers. They are not even trying to hide anymore what they really are. So yes, when it comes to this region, Zaporozhye and Kherson direction, there is quite interesting update, which is that general that was in charge of this area, General Muradov, left his position, and now overall command here will have another general, Andrei Kuzmenko. As I understand, he was commander of the 6th Combined Arms Army, and now he will be, that's general that I'm talking about, and now he will be in charge of this direction, and I guess we will see some changes in coming days. Let's see what kind of strategy this new general will employ to conduct defensive and offensive operations. I would not be surprised when I was thinking about this topic, when I was thinking about it, one of the I did think that it's quite possible that this new general may not wait for announced and expected by many large-scale counteroffensive of Zelensky's regime in direction of this land bridge between Crimea and Russia. This general may conduct offensive of Russian forces in direction of Zaporozhye. And that's what I will do, because no one expects anything like it, isn't it? And that's what I will do. I will make sure that I have enough forces. I had a good enough plan, and I will execute this plan, and I will try to establish control over the Zaporozhye city itself, or at least bring front line close to Zaporozhye city, and during this offensive destroy as many units of opposite side as possible, so that there will be no counteroffensive. There will be no any counteroffensive from Zelensky's regime in direction of this land bridge. That's what I will do. But of course, I'm not military expert, and we have to wait and see what kind of changes will this new general Andrei Kuzmenko will make. So this is overall situation. I mean, on the front lines. And once again, if you want to learn more details about what is happening on the front line. Of course, you know best channels in this regards: Military Summary, DPA War, Alexander Mercuris, New Atlas, when they have an update, when Brian makes updates on Ukrainian topics. I mean, great channels. Alex Christoforou also, even though Alex Christoforou more has a program like I do. He talks about many other news. He's not concentrating on single topic. And that's great because, we do need channels like Alex Christoforou has to see his perspective and about many other topics. And so, yes, I'm gonna copy all those links to these great channels, and I will probably on daily basis put in description box so that whenever I mention them, if some of you are surprisingly not subscribed to those channels yet, you can always go check and subscribe. They are great, honestly. So I hope one day my channel will at least come close to that level of professionalism that they are showing us on daily basis. So let's continue now. And next news that I want to share with you is about, this is a report from the Russian Defense Ministry, according to which last 24 hours in Donetsk direction, Zelensky's regime lost more than 400 soldiers, and this is without count of casualties that Zelensky's regime had in Bakhmut. So yes, some heavy fighting is going on in Donetsk direction, and that's why I said it's probably only a matter of days, and Marinka will become under full control of Russian side, and probably we will see some movement in direction of Avdiivka. Also, because I find it hard to believe that Zelensky's regime is so stupid that they will not recognize that Avdiivka is becoming a second big trap, and probably they will pull out their forces from Avdiivka. Otherwise, they will be forced to send more and more reinforcements in the direction of Avdiivka, and those units will be just destroyed like it happened in Bakhmut, when they were sending one brigade, then another, then third, then fourth, and God knows how many soldiers Zelensky's regime lost in Bakhmut direction. Tens of thousands. And now let me take your attention for a few minutes and say that if you think this channel is interesting, if you think this channel has some potential and are useful, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal or subscribe to my Patreon channel. That would be great, and of course I'm gonna be very, very thankful for your help. This channel exists only because of, at this stage, this channel exists only because of your support. So, I will carry on doing this stuff as long as it's possible. And basically, it all depends on how useful this channel are for subscribers. And if they are supporting, okay. If not, then yes, I have to leave this project and do something else. So let's continue now. This is RIA Novosti, and that's quite interesting news. I did share this information on my Telegram channel. Yesterday late afternoon we did learn that Germany did deliver 18 Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine, and same time I did read that some 40 armored personnel carriers also were delivered. Marder, yes, that's it. armored personnel carriers also, or they will deliver it to Zelensky's regime from Germany. Well, I guess these tanks will soon arrive in direction of this land bridge that connects Crimea to mainland Russia, and all those tanks will be destroyed there. Some of them may be captured and intact and then transferred to, let's say, Ural Vagon Zavod. That's a manufacturing plant that produces main producer of Russian tanks, 1090M, for example. But I'm quite sure it's only a matter of time, and these tanks, these German tanks, will end up in Russian hands. And I'm quite sure crew of these tanks will be not Ukrainians, but Germans, or at least from NATO member states that are familiar with these tanks. There's no way I will believe that. We may see some videos that Ukrainian tankers are next to these tanks and going in and out from these tanks, but when it comes to battlefield, I'm 100% sure that NATO member states will send their tankers, and NATO personnel will operate with these vehicles. Same I can say about British Challenger 2 tanks. According to some reports, British Challenger 2 tanks also are transferred to Ukraine at this stage. So probably Igor Strelkov, this famous Russian public figure who was one of the leaders of uprising in Donetsk region, he was absolutely right when he said a few days ago that it's up to 100 Western-made battle tanks that already are in Ukraine. It seems like that's exactly the case. So yes, it's only a matter of time now when we see how Russian forces once again are destroying German tanks. It's sad. It's truly sad that Germany did this to relationships between two countries. Man, it's how they could agree to other countries to re-export their tanks, and how it's unimaginable how they send its own tanks to battlefield against Russia. I mean, it's just hard to believe this is truly happening, but it does. So yes, as I said many times before, no matter how many military equipment, how many tanks Germany or US or UK will send to this front line, to this battlefield, Russia will emerge victorious anyway. Russia cannot lose this fight, just cannot. But conflict will probably be prolonged, and more damage will be done to Ukraine and to relationships between the sides. But Western military equipment will definitely change nothing in principle. Western elites already lost this fight. So this is RIA Novosti. And yes, that's kind of continuation what I was just talking about. According to Times, Biden administration has a change of mind now, and if previously they were recommending Zelensky to be careful with ambitions, now, according to Times, Biden administration decided to continue this conflict until Russian defeat, which is sounds crazy because it is crazy. So as I said before, man, Biden administration, they are sick animals. No, truly, they are sick animals. They cannot think straight because No adequate human being will ever think that it's possible to defeat nuclear superpower. It's just impossible. It's just technically impossible. But if times is right, and if Biden administration now will become even more aggressive and even more involved in this conflict, which I also predicted, isn't it? Then we will see further escalation. We will see prolongation of this conflict, and most definitely we will see open involvement in this conflict, armed forces of from some NATO member states. First of all, it's of course Poland, Baltic states. They don't really have enough. They don't really have any significant forces, but they will probably send some. I don't know, few dozens of soldiers. Slovakia probably will be involved because Slovakia now, it seems like Slovakia is trying to become even more Russophobic than Poland is. Slovakian elites are trying to be seen as even more anti-Russian than Poland elites are. And Slovakia probably also will send its forces to die on Ukrainian soil. Some other NATO member states also, and maybe even US. And once US will become involved, then it's hard to tell what will happen, because we may end up seeing some low-level nuclear exchange, if it's even if it's even possible to exchange tactical nuclear weapons, like 5-10 times and then stop. Is it possible even in theory? I don't know. But if US will openly become part of this conflict, then we have some truly worldwide conflict in our hands. That will be global war. Call it whatever you want, World War III, or So that's why I want this conflict to end as soon as possible, because it seems like Western elites don't really have breaks. They will push all the way until one of the sites will be destroyed. And because we are talking about nuclear superpowers, how anyone can defeat Russia or USA? If Russia and USA end up in conflict, that means that there will be no winners. Everyone will lose. So in attempts to somehow prevent this kind of development, Moscow should probably try to finish this conflict as fast as possible, because no one wants to see end of this world, isn't it? But yet again, it's easier to say than to do it. So let's see how will the situation develop, really. And let's continue, and let me check how long is this video. 33 minutes. It's always long videos, man. And look at it, how many news are left. So we have I will go through headlines, really, and yes, that's it. So this is RBK News Agency's report about statements that Trump made, and according to him, this conflict should be end right now. And yes, you cannot argue with this. He has an argument that Ukraine has been destroyed because of this war. Also true, and he did not touch topics that I just talked about risks of this conflict becoming full-out nuclear war between the Russia and the US, or Russia and NATO. But maybe in some other time he did spoke about it, because it's just too obvious. It's just too obvious that Western elites have no breaks. Biden administration is becoming more and more involved in this conflict, and one day we will truly see direct confrontation of the sides. But yes, I mean, it's sad that elections in US are in 2024, not right now, because then Trump may win and he may change something, or some other Republican. But those neoliberals like Democrat Party and the rest of them, I mean, they are crazy as hell, man. So let's continue. This is RIA Novosti. Oh, and yes, that's interesting. Few days ago, I was thinking to report about this, but there was too many news, and I just had no time. But a few days ago, Armenian Constitutional Court decided that Yerevan should act according to Rim's statute, which means that Yerevan should apply all the decisions that International Criminal Court will made or has made. And in reality, this means that Yerevan, Armenian authorities should arrest Vladimir Putin if he will visit Armenia. And Russian Foreign Ministry did react on this decision, and Russian Foreign Ministry said that let me translate it. Unacceptable, yes. Moscow considers Yerevan's plan on the ICC unacceptable, a source in the foreign ministry said. And yes, this is report from RIA Novosti. We did not see open statements from Russian side, but according to some sources of RIA Novosti, Russian side is quite upset, and it's obvious because at one hand Armenia is demanding from Russia support, and in second hand Armenia acting more and more like ally of anti-Russian coalition of the Western elites, and it's bad for both countries, but especially for Armenia, because just look at the geography of Armenia. Let me show you. That's Armenia here. That's Armenia. One side is Azerbaijan, and Armenia in conflict with Azerbaijan. Other side is Turkey, and Armenia don't really have any relationships with Turkey. Here Georgia, and right now Armenia even with Georgia don't really have let's say great relationships. Relationships are okay, but not a great one. There are some issues between the sides, because Armenia was not happy that Azerbaijan was receiving some transit goods through Georgia during the conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh. So I don't know, Armenia only has ally Russia, and now Yerevan is acting not just now, but since Pashinyan became prime minister of Armenia. Pashinyan is a asset of Western elites. Maybe you are not familiar with this information, but he was financed by Soros, for God's sake. And whenever you hear George Soros, you know with what you are dealing in that situation. And the Pashinyan is a product of Soros funds. So you know the deal now. And that's why Armenia is distancing itself from Russia, and I don't believe it will end very well for Armenia, sadly. But it's their choice. Let's continue now. And yes, that's information that I already did share with you. Balitsky, governor of Zaporozhye region, did said that missile strike, yesterday's strike on Melitopol and Melitopol's university was conducted by HIMARS. multi-launch rocket systems. So this strike was conducted by US basically, because it's a US that operates these systems, and US does articulates coordinates that these missiles are sent to. So of course it was US, no doubt about it. This is RIA Novosti. I did talk about this. Next news is about, yes, this is RIA Novosti, and we have information that Germany is planning to basically double its assistance to Zelensky's regime, which is not surprising. We are talking about 5.4 billion, and just now I did share on my Telegram channel information like a few minutes ago that Germany plans to increase military aid to Ukraine up to 15 billion euros. So this information have been updated, I guess. Maybe someone in Berlin did think that 5 billion is not enough. Let's send to Zelensky 15 billion, And yes, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy. How are you going to comment this? Is German society even knows what is happening? Do they have any opinion about it? I mean, 15 billion euros. How many good stuff can be done for these 15 billion euros in Germany? What the hell, really? But let's continue. And this is quite interesting. Also, this information is from RIA Novosti, and the UN Security Council did not adopt Russia's resolution on the Nord Stream investigation. UN, United Nations Security Council, did not adopt Russia's resolution on Nord Stream investigation. We are on same page here. I'm asking, I mean, this is UN. UN said no to investigate terroristic attack on Nord Stream pipelines. And do you need any more proof that this structure, this organization is just full of crap, really, and means nothing no more? And not just right now, but for a long time. That's why I'm saying that any organization that West has full control over is crap. And Russia and all the other countries should stay away, man. What UN? I mean, how can UN say no to investigate terroristic attack? But that's what they do. Because that's what US wants, and that's what United Kingdom wants, and that's what France wants. Permanent members. And, they have majority. West has majority in UN. Because, it's 5 permanent members, isn't it? It's China, Russia, US, UK, and France for some strange reasons. France did not win any Second World War. France was defeated last time I checked. And defeated, not just defeated, but after that, France was allied with Germans, and, there was the French divisions of SS, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, not all French support German Nazis, but they even had a government in France that was, allied with Hitler and Nazi Germany. And why France is in permanent member of Security Council of UN, I have no idea. But okay, it's not about this now, but that's a crap organization, man. It should not exist. It don't really means nothing no more, and that's why entire world outside of West should think in which direction we should go, you know. And it's obvious we all should build closer ties and just isolate Western world and just leave them alone, wish them luck, you know, and just stay away to be secure, because you know most dangers for this world are coming from the Western elites, and that's true. That's just simple truth. And those globalists will not stop until someone will stop them with force. So, oh, that's quite interesting. You know, kind of continuation what I was just saying. RT is has an article here that EU is losing relevance in the emerging new world. I'm not gonna go through this article entirely. You can read it on RT's site. But can you agree with this? I mean, headline says it all. And I was saying for a long time now that because of this extremely irrational policies of Western elites, we will see one day that Europe has become an irrelevant province of Eurasian continent. And yes, that's what will happen. Western Europe or entire Europe will become irrelevant province of Eurasia, Eurasian continent. And irrelevant province of this world, really. It's sad. I'm definitely not happy about it, but that's what will happen. Only way to avoid this kind of future for Europe is to, you know, European society should wake up then and establish some new elites, some proper ones, with adequate people that will care about interests of Europeans, interests of their citizens. But is it possible? You know, we can hope, but I mean, you know. And two more news, isn't it? So yes, two more news, and that's it for today's update. So we have a TASS News Agency's report that, according to which United States still believes that Russia is not intend to use nuclear weapons. That's good news at one hand, that Russia is not intending to use nuclear weapons. And it's also bad news in terms that I don't think it's good when your enemy is sure that you will do something or you will don't. So US should never know what Russia will do or not do. But when it comes to nuclear weapons, I mean, let's hope that no one will use nuclear weapons. Because, you know, once that box of Pandora will be opened, then God knows what will happen next. Nothing good, probably. So, and the last news is that still also TASS News Agency's report about analytics that was done by World Bank, according to which this decade, from 20 to 30, will be lost decade for world economy, because for many different reasons, economy growth of world GDP will slow down in a rapid pace, and maybe even go to some negative marks. And yes, I mean, it's not surprising, for God's sake. There was lockdowns all over the world, and then we have this crisis between Russia and Western elites, and of course world economy is suffering. And how world's GDP gonna grow when this kind of craziness is happening? So yes, I mean, in this case you can probably agree with the world bank that this decade from 20 to 30 will be decade of lost opportunities, let's say this way, for the world. And that's probably true. So yes, this is it for now. I hope you will find this video interesting. 50 minutes, too long, but you know, too long video again, but I hope you will find it interesting, and if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. And if you can and if you want to, you can support with small donations through PayPal or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You will see links under this video in the description box. So yes, this is it for now. I wish you a great day and take care.